Hello, all of you who is watching this podcast. I'm Red November, representing Sunday Wars Universalis, SU in short. We are a European Universalis for multiplayer community, and this is our first session podcast. We started our journey from 1444, and right now we just entered 1491. We are here to talk about what happened during the span of 45 years. Let me introduce myself and my colleagues. I am the host of this podcast session, and my nickname, as I mentioned, is Red November. I'm playing Poland in this campaign. I'm here with Frozen, who is playing Moscow, Twin, who is playing Uzbek, soon to be Mughals, and Sideways, who died in his attempt to unify Iberia. So let's start underlying what we will be talking about today. We will be talking about what has happened, who fought against who, and martyrs of our first session. We are not going to talk about the personal diplomacy of our players and their potential allies or enemies for the next session. We do not want to spoil things in advance. We will start introducing players and countries from the Iberian region, and we will slowly travel the world. I hope you guys enjoy this session and others which will follow this one. So let's talk about Iberia, Sideways. We need to talk much about Iberia. What do you say? I see you got shrunk in size.
Um, uh, there's not much to say in Iberia. I had a failed misadventure. Didn't work out. Um, I'm on my last leg right now. I'm basically decapitated. I lost my limbs. I'm just pretty much a lifeless corpse wiggling around in the dirt, trying to come back if possible. Probably gonna die next session, but you never know what can happen. So we'll just play on and cross our fingers, hope to die well. That's all.
So what has happened actually? Like I saw you attacking
Okay,
Morocco with
so if you
Portugal.
want details of what happened, um, so for me personally, on a personal Castile basis, I had a lot of problems with the country. So it was just like I just kept struggling to try and just make the country viable. But for the most of the game, I was just stuck on Tech 3. I don't even know why. Like, of course, my king was garbage, but I don't know why it took me so long to go to Tech 4. All I did was conquer, like, Grenada and North Africa, yet I just couldn't build the points necessary to tech up to Tech 4, Diplo, or admin at all. Um, institution came about, and of course, the penalties keep rising, and it makes it even worse. But on the case of the Aragon War, well, Portugal and I, we attacked Morocco. We were assuming Aragon would join in, and we have a big war. Aragon, I guess, he left Morocco to die, so it was just Morocco versus Portugal and Castile. We won that war. In that war, I took two provinces to the north of Morocco because Portugal couldn't take the land he wanted on the coastline, so he just gave me the two provinces to the north, and that was it. Uh, Later on in the game, we noticed that Pope was at war with Austria. Um, who was it? I think it was just like Austria, Venice, and a whole group of people. So there was a huge war in Europe, basically. It's like Ottomans and Austria at war, Pope and Austria at war, Austria being the emperor, of course. So it was like a good opportunity to attack Aragon, who was now kind of silly in the HRE. But just as we're about to attack, France becomes the emperor, so we make a deal with France. We attack Aragon. As soon as we attack, Pope basically loses, I guess you can say, in his other war, gives up Napoli or whatever it is. And he comes over into Iberia to help Aragon. And we were just overwhelmed. Even though we had more morale, like I think like 0.6 more morale and about the same discipline or more, it was like a 10K or more troop difference, and so it was just too much. Literally every battle came down to the wire. It was just like one more roll would win it for us, but each time we wouldn't get the good enough roll we needed, and we just end up hitting zero morale first. Kept getting pushed back slowly and slowly, and until eventually just no hope left. So it was just like Portugal asked if we should give up. They sent them white peace. I said, yeah, sure, and then they sent me a peace deal, and I accepted.
Sounds bad. Frozen,
Yeah. So right now my country is basically just it's I don't know how Aragon is after the war. I don't know how Pope is after the war. Apparently Pope is in a lot of debt, so that's him. But I'm also in a lot of debt. I My country is basically like it's pretty much a disaster at this point. It's basically Syria in 1450. So if anything, I'll try to just play it like really, really risky So I won't really try to fix it. I'll just try and play it as is and see if I can build it, keep going with it. Maybe get dev to make the loans less relevant and stuff like that, and just get money wherever I can. If I have to declare bankruptcy, then I will, because I think I have like 30 loans out of 50 or something.
Yeah, your situation seems pretty unsalvageable.
Yeah, it's just I just never had money. Like that's another problem too. Like as soon as I go to force limit, it's just negative balance. So it was just a big problem. And I had to go to force limit to even try to match their troop count, and we still couldn't.
Yeah, unfortunately, Iberian region is like quite poor in the game, not as it was in the history. So when France is like dying in like that, in like richness, Iberia is dying in poorness.
Yeah, unfortunate situation, but I lost, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I hope you can make some things like work for yourself, maybe some diplomacy in between sessions to bring some new favors.
No, I rather not bring no new diplomacy in this, because the bullies in France want us to bow down even more, which is not going to happen.
Okay. Do you guys want to add anything, pros in order to win?
I don't have much to add really, although I'm curious about what France wants.
He basically wants me to give him lands in certain places, so.
Yeah, wasn't France gonna play Toll? I don't think.
You guys believe the shit? Like France saying I will play tall is the same as me saying I'm a merchant republic. So he just learns from me.
Yeah.
We will talk about the meme France like in the following minutes, but like yeah, Iberia seems to be the case. We have that Morocco. We have, I believe, semi-dead Tunis.
Is Tunis dead?
Half dead Castile. People say he's dead, but we will see if he shows up.
Who?
Tunis.
Tunis is probably dead because he lost to AI. What's it called? The country between Tunis and Morocco. I forgot the name right now. Tlemcen. He lost to Tlemcen in that war, and he had some serious problems. And he had to fight rebels after it. He had no manpower, no money, nothing. So he might be really, really struggling right now. He might be in a situation same as Castile.
Yeah, he had like 6 income. Yeah, that I think we can consider him that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we have the Italian region who played an important part in this session. We had Venice who sniped Constantinople before Ottomans did, and basically blocked Ottoman expansion and Ottoman mission tree. And then he basically dominated the trade while making a deal with Mamluks. We had Naples who died very early, unless Cyrus was expecting Dino to play tall, but instead of going tall, Dino got quite short and died quickly. And we have Florence. We have also Milan player died. We have Florence, Venice, Papal States left in Italy. What do you guys say about it?
I heard someone say that the Papal State in Florence had all of Italy at some point, and then they lost the war.
Yeah, from what I understand, they declared war on Venice.
I can explain it.
Okay, go
because
on.
I kind of saw what was happening in that situation. It was happening at the same time where I declared on Aragon, which is the reason I declared on Aragon, because what happened was Aragon, Pope, and Florence, they were all in a massive Italian war. So it was the same war with Venice, Austria, Hungary, and at the same time, the Ottomans saw it as an opportunity to attack Hungary, Austria, and that big bloc. But what happened during that war is just the Austrian alliance was too strong for them. So first of all, they started to carpet siege down Florence. They really pushed into Florence to carpet siege them down. They pieced them out, and then they started to push through the Pope. And they reached Rome, sieged it, and he unconditionally surrendered. And from that, they basically started to they took 3 provinces from the Naples area.
Yeah, and then basically Pope came to Aragon to deal with you.
Basically.
Yeah, Venice should be mentioned like specifically. He played quite aggressive against the Ottomans. He got like Constantinople before they did, and now he's dominating the trade in this region. And
Pope has
yeah,
29 loans.
Yeah, he basically he has like no other choice but to declare bankruptcy.
Same to be said for Florence.
I don't know. We need to check Florence actually. But Pope is still making Pope is still making more money than Aragon, Castile. So
Florence doesn't have any debt. Give some money to the. Well, no, they rivaled each other. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Well, someone has to die in Italy after all.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's gonna suck for the Pope.
Yep.
The allied to the
That is true.
Venice.
Venice is like
Venice.
the biggest question here. He changed the fate of the game basically quite early by taking Constantinople from Byzantine before Ottomans did.
Yeah, look at that money.
And yeah, he has like the third highest income as far as I'm aware, after France and England. Okay, now we have France, who is dominating Europe by not doing anything. So we had a war between England, France, and Burgundy. England and France teamed up to attack Burgundy, and they basically killed him. And France also joined the empire. Can you show the empire map?
Yes, it's disgusting, by the way. Napoleon will
This-
turn around in his grave.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
need,
Yeah,
we need to
I
thank
saw,
Austria for this.
I saw Hargood type, "Oh, save me," in all caps in chat or something like that. When I realized, oh, there's a war going on in Europe.
He wrote like
Which-
capital letters, help. Yeah,
Not end in his favor.
it was some interesting war there. So we have to talk about Og yet again. He's throwing his weight around, and basically he did the same thing with the Castile. He humiliated Castile twice, basically, and sideways accepted peacefully, and then he bullied Austria to let him join the empire, or he would attack Austria, and he got everything he wanted in the first session, and now he's making the highest income money, which is quite admirable.
I blame Austria for it all. For
I do the
being
same.
for being such a coward. How could I how can I do anything personally against a France England alliance when I also have to deal with Aragon and Italy and then Austria who is bending over in the corner? How am I supposed to stand against this?
Look at the manpower as well, guys. 120k. Not even 1500.
This is so huge. This is so huge. He got economics and defensive. Like his morale is like huge right now. He just needs to like hit the target and then enemies will just like die. He completed most of his missions as well.
Yeah.
He's
Look at
doing
that
pretty
force
good,
limit. 91.
right? Yeah, his force limit is also huge. Like he's doing so good. He's doing way too good. Can you show off his morale like by turning on the slider? Army maintenance.
I'll just show it here. The army tab.
Yep.
Oh.
He has like a huge, and when Ogi declared war, first simulation versus sideways, Kreshka was in our channel, and he like left for like 5 minutes non-stop. Video stop.
Krishka.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice. Yeah,
Is
he
it
was
the
looking very
highest
nice.
morale, by the way?
Probably. Maybe
I
we
can't-
should check Austria as well.
Maybe QQ has.
No, he
I
has
don't know.
11 and he has like plus. Yeah, probably the highest morale right now. 462. Very nice. And also we have England playing aggressive and like quite nice. He basically took lowlands from Burgundy, and then he attacked Denmark, who took Sajaland, and now I think he got Hamburg as well, or like one or two provinces. And he
East
is
Frisia,
basically
yeah.
dominating the trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, East Frisia.
Bremen.
He basically wants to control the north, and now he's doing quite nice there. Like he's attacking important trade cities and taking them by force. At some point, Brandenburg attacked Hamburg, and then England gave trade to Hamburg. He was attacked by Brandenburg, and then seized all of his country, with Ottomans and Hungarians like coming to send condottieri. Brandenburg was like saved. Otherwise, he would have like lost half of his country.
Yeah. Did you guys see
Yeah.
the money as well, by the way?
Yeah, he is like he has nice money. He's doing really good. Sideways, what do you say? Like is seeing some successful England.
Oh, I have no faith this England will survive. Sorry. It's not
Yeah.
anything personal to do with the player. It's just the fact that I have seen so many of them be successful and still die. So maybe he will survive. I don't know. I doubt it.
Mm. Yeah, so far he's doing quite great. Like France and England teamed up and they are doing quite like getting whatever they want. I say like they are quite successful. Do you guys want to add anything before we move to HRA?
I find it odd that England doesn't use his money to build stuff. No production,
From
churches.
from what I know, he is basically buying influence, like selling, taking provinces or like asking people to give him what he wants and then offering them money.
Okay.
Yeah, he has like 4k cash in deposit. I'm sure it will be quite useful.
What about Scotland, by the way? He went for exploration and expansion. Is he colonizing somewhere?
I think they will be doing it like next, like we have Ireland as well. Sorry, we have Ireland as well, and they are all working together like a United Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think the way England will survive, the only way this guy survives, is if he can keep good relations with the people on his island.
Yep. It's kind of like your game, like Leonard was the military, you were.
Well, I didn't need to survive without Leyland, but the problem I'm not a problem, but the reason I say this for England is because now he has two people on his island and he's let them grow. So he has Scotland is pretty strong, Ireland is pretty strong, and then there's our France also down in the bottom. So with just Ireland and Scotland together, if they go to war with him, he'll struggle. And then especially if France joins in, he will struggle even more.
Nah, that's true. He has to make good diplo, but so
Exactly.
far,
Yeah, it's up to
he-
his diplo. I mean, late
Yeah.
game, if like it's 1700 or something like that, and he's really blobbed out, then by that point, it doesn't matter if the two of them go against him. If he plays well enough, you'll still be able to beat them no matter who joins in.
yeah. Yeah, we have a successful West Europe, really successful West Europe. Quite interesting. Now we will be talking about the empire. So as you can see, France got elected by the empire because he bullied Austria to get him elected. So Austria told first Austria accepted Hungary into the empire, then he accepted Venice, and he passed the first reform, and then he elected humans, not AI players, to vote for France, and they already passed 3 reforms, and like the fourth one is coming. So we have a really strong HRA, like a really strong European Union, 400 years early, and Austria also subjugated Bohemia. Like they made a deal. Bohemia didn't even fight for it. Austria just declared war on Bohemia, and put a personal union on Bohemia, and they also killed Ottoman Empire together. So they are quite strong. What do you guys say about this empire?
I think it's disgusting.
I think I think it makes me want to puke. The worst part about it is that Austria is not even the emperor.
Yeah, he's not even the elector right now.
Yeah, he's not even an elector either. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I'll
mean-
be coup d'etat.
Despite their pug box, they still couldn't prevent France from forcing himself in. So I don't know.
Of course they could. Well, of course they could. Do you see the size of that hug box? How can they not stop France from forcing
Well,
his
I mean,
way
they
in?
didn't.
Oh, yeah, they didn't, but they could have.
Yeah, I guess they could have.
Yeah, like they have a really strong hug box, which is Venice,
In
Austria,
fact,
Hungary.
ironically, apparently, when Burgundy was fighting France, and it wasn't just France, it was France, England, and Scotland. Apparently, Burgundy was holding them off. And this was after Austria already deserted him and left the war. So if Austria stayed in that war and calling his allies, Burgundy would have survived. You wouldn't need to give France emperorship or anything.
Yeah. And then you could say that's a questionable decision. I don't understand how Bohemia is playing so submissively, just giving Austria a union. I'm very confused by some of the things that's been going on in nature.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Like when I heard like he was going to the subject, I was like, "Are you serious? What's wrong there?" But maybe that's like the way he wants to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
can't
it's
be
all
sure.
part of his plan to stab Arsenal in the back down the line. At least it's expected.
Yeah.
No
The
one
problem of
expected a PU backstab.
I mean it's disgusting at some point. Even Aragon joined at some point, and now Aragon will could eat all of Iberia and like eat it to Empire as well.
Exactly.
We
So
might
what will happen is that you have Spain, France, Italy, all in the HRE. It's like, what?
It's gonna be the European Union.
Yes!
I mean,
Augie already said that he's forming the European Union.
they're even gonna.
He just needs to add England in, then let them leave.
Yeah.
yeah, that would be hilarious.
There'll be I was somebody taking. I know we'll probably be talking about the Middle East and Turkey soon, but will somebody be taking over Ottomans? I heard, or no?
Faisal might be.
Faisal,
Quabos.
Okay.
disaster in the progress.
So I was gonna say they're gonna add the rest of Greece and Turkey to the HRE2 maybe for more reforms. Or how many reforms do they have by now? Maybe
Three.
One.
Yeah, three
they have
reforms
quite a few actually. Yeah, 3.
before the Reformation, and now the fourth is coming as well.
Yeah.
And now being at their border makes me quite uneasy. Like I'm like,
Yeah, why didn't you join Poland?
I am planning to join, but not under Austria's leadership. I am all for France. I accept him as my savior and the new Charlemagne.
I think you might be. I think you might need to give me a bit more depth before you can join. That's fine.
No, I want to get elected. I'm not gonna lose development.
I think the only person at this point who still believes Augie, and they only believe it to comfort themselves, is Austria, believing that what he keeps saying that he's playing tall.
Yeah, we will see a very interesting France. Like it's like this. I believe we will see the strongest France ever in this game.
I honestly, maybe he'll play tall. Maybe. I mean, I can take his word for it, but I honestly don't see a reason why he would. Because what Ottomans are dead. Castile in Iberia is dead. So if he wants to attack Aragon, he's the emperor. He can do it. The Aragon will not be able to fight him off. Pope is apparently in so much debt that he's crumbling. Florence is small in Italy, so that's not a big problem. And again, he's in the HRE, so he can do whatever he wants in Germany.
Yeah, there's so much potential. Like, why would he play tall? It doesn't make any sense. I don't think he's gonna.
Exactly, and he's also allied with England, so it's like he's not missing an ally somewhere in Europe. He already has a pretty decent ally on the British Isles.
At this rate, he can even like reform from an empire in multiplayer, like make himself a legend.
Well, if he did that, I guess it's Scotland forever. Because something will have to happen to England.
What happened to your voice?
Something would have to happen to England, like if he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like French troops storming from like Scottish Highlands, taking London and such. So I was playing Poland in the region. Frozen is playing Muscovy, and Twin is playing Uzbek. And we had an Novgorod player didn't show up, so Frozen was a bit uneasy at the start. But then Great War didn't show up as well, and he was like, "Yeah, it's going nice." So we killed Teutons with Lithuania, and we took like Livonia and such at some point. But then I was helping Ottomans to around like 1480s to make him stand against the HRA, because I'm also a bit worried about their expansion. At the same time, Moscow attacked Lithuania, and we fought like some battles. We didn't have enough manpower. I mean, maybe Lithuania had, but I didn't have enough manpower. So when the war started, I was already like 2k manpower, and I had one depth. So I just like organized some army. We engaged Sweden near Livonia. We defeated him, but then at the mid battle, my general died, and I took unnecessary losses. And then we basically couldn't fight against Moscow. We just like made some circles, tried to lure them into a like, defensive position, and after we tried, we just like gave up. We couldn't do anything about them.
Yeah.
Not
So I was sitting there hoping that you would approach me about partitioning Lithuania, but it sort of never happened. So the Sweden sub kind of convinced me to take matters into our own hands when this giant war with the Papal State and the Ottomans and all of that happened. When basically the same time as Sideways decided to declare his war on, but we were considerably more lucky, you could say. It wasn't
Yeah,
even
you
my
did have a
hardest.
misadventure. Okay.
Yeah. And then now after days and days of negotiations, Muscovy has finally decided to very graciously permit Poland's continued existence. So
Yeah, the bastion of orthodoxy against the Christian hardbacks in Europe.
If I can say something, I think that's a bad idea. I think you should like kill it before it breeds. Just get rid of Poland now. You know.
just kill it, just purge it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sideways, you're a dead empire, okay? Yeah, you don't have permission to speak.
My hardest, my hardest work was actually against the Golden Horde because he just decided it was pretty early in the game. I didn't have much manpower after killing Novgorod, and he just decided to make 20 mercenary cavalry horses and run at me until he was bankrupt. So that slowed me down a lot. It hurt me
Yeah, that was painful.
quite,
That as well.
quite a bit. um,
Yeah, this was an interesting region. Like, Sweden
Wait,
also-
isn't that nation ruining? He just ran 20 Merc cavalry into you.
I mean, it was either that or die for him. So
Yeah, it's a horde. They gotta make something happen in the early game, right?
yeah,
Yeah, he did what he could.
he went bankrupt pretty fast though. But
And
I would
he-
believe so. He has like a 6 ducat income running 20 Merc cavalry.
yeah, he just went all in.
That was some scene. Like, Frozen had like 40k army. Sweden was supporting him, and like he had like 20k cavalry army, and they're all like talking in the channel. Yeah, retreat. We lost the vessel.
I was even in the war as well with a content stack.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
some,
it's
like,
I lost all my manpower, and I think my army went down to like 7k after the war. Maybe I could have played it more
can't do that.
defensively, but I didn't want to spend like 20 years killing Golden Horde either, so I just went for it. And I mean, I think it paid off.
Yeah, you
so-
are now the strongest Eastern European power. Lithuania raised it as well. Okay. let's move to
Actually,
Middle East. Or like
Lithuania,
Hmm?
in hindsight, he should have maybe helped the Golden Horde. In hindsight, of
Yeah.
course.
He actually suggested me, and I'm like, we should like. It was like Golden Horde was going to die from my perspective, and like Sweden, Moscow had Sweden at his side, and Uzbek was like helping at him, and I was like, yeah, let's just like take some things for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're back to arguing over Crimea, which we have a long
Yeah.
history of distrust over.
Our mistrust with Frozen starts because of Crimea. Like when I was playing Ottomans, and it was my first MP campaign, and he was playing Muscovy, and he just took over to Crimea, and I was like, I was gonna take that, and he's like, but I took it. It's like Russian land. And then I took Sarkeji and Kazakumush, and then we just like sat there like 200k troops on the border. We had like this uneasy relations, and then it turned out to be a war. And yet again, I'm taking Crimea, and like he's now trying to insert his influence over Crimea, and we are just discussing over it. It's ironic.
And funnily enough, also it's full of salt. Isn't that what they produce there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Crimea is full of salt.
What did Sweden take as closing comments? What did Sweden take in this war? Did they get anything?
No,
Oh,
Not from the Lithuanian war.
he didn't get anything.
Well, he took Norway from Denmark, and yeah, that's basically.
I thought you
all
meant
for-
this specific war.
No, he didn't take anything from this war, but he could take in the next one, I guess. So, let's talk about the Middle East. We have the fall of Ottoman Empire. Mamluks from one side, HRA from the other side, just squeezed him, and Ottomans took heavy beatings, and it's pretty dead for him. Timurids. Let's talk about Timurids first, though. Like, Twin, do you want to say some things about him?
well, we kind of had a deal. I would take it.
Kinda.
Yeah, we had a deal. I would take the best provinces in the Samarkand trade node, but I don't know. Like his king died in the first month of the game, so I kinda changed the conditions of the deal a bit.
You forced your way in.
Well, let's just say I helped Ajam fight some revolts in the Timurid vassals.
Ooh. And how come he basically conquered much of what he lost? Because I see Timur's consolidated his power.
Yeah, he did, but also because we decided to not bother each other anymore after that initial war. Because he had a lot of threats from the west, and I'm a horde. I can't like afford to keep fighting people. I need to do something productive, which I did in the end. But we will talk about that later. And yeah, we
Yeah.
decided, hey, I'm not your biggest enemy, and you're not my biggest enemy. We stop this shit, and that's what we did.
Makes sense. We have Mamluks and QQ now teaming up. They screwed over Ottomans, and now they are trying to attack Timurids. And now we have Oman Kreshka. uh, so can you show his corruption to us? Let's see if he's doing famous Kreshka tactics.
No, actually, he doesn't have that much corruption.
Ooh. Sideways, what do you say about Kreshka and his Faisal's disappearance? Sideways doesn't even make a comment. He's that much frustrated.
Well, I mean, I guess it was predicted that, you know, one of the only one of them would survive. It was
Yeah,
either Faisal or Krashka.
I'm happy to see Kreshka live.
Oh, there he is, living. So
There he is, the living legend.
maybe he can make use of his trade node or something. But
Yeah,
I feel
I'm just
like so just the land is just all desert, and it's so hard to expand and push trade into Oman, I think.
it is. He has like a very pretty low development country. He has to play it tall, but like it's also quite difficult. He got no money, no manpower left.
Yeah.
He's also in that.
He's at
But
war with QQ. Is that
Mm.
like a fake war, or is it just
no,
a...
QQ attacked him with
Yeah,
Mamluks.
still an
I see.
ongoing war.
So he's at war with who's on his side in this war?
Oman
Timurs?
with
Tim-
Timurids against QQ and Mamluks.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was an ongoing war.
Yeah,
Actually, that's so scary. Actually,
it is. QQ has like quite nice armies, and combined with Mamluks, they outnumber Timurids.
yeah. QQ and Mamluks, they have. I mean, they're not France tier strong, but they both have high incomes and big force limits, and yeah,
Yeah, they will
they're
be.
kind of scary.
If QQ kills Timurids, it will be a Persia. It will be interesting, quite interesting.
Can be
Indeed.
dangerous. This is
And
really a
yes.
power couple, guys. These guys might actually win. I'm not even kidding. Like Mamluks can form Arabia, QQ is gonna form Persia. I think it's
Yeah,
really scary. And it's
it
not
is.
just because I'm bordering them soon, but also like they can expand any direction, guys. Like you look at it, Ethiopia, Ottomans, Tunis, anywhere.
Definitely.
Who's on Ethiopia? Is it Morphe? Or
Uh,
I
don't know.
think it
I heard he died to AI.
Morphe. Oh, rip. He was the one that played much of it when I was in Malacca,
Oh,
and we had some
well,
interesting
shame.
wars until he died to his vassals. So
Last minute information I'm having. It's Ethiopia is the dude that left cause of internet. He switched from Mutapa Vasal, Butua to Ethiopia, and Morphe didn't show up.
Oh,
Do you guys have any last comments for Middle East region?
Not really.
hopefully Crasher gets more corruptions.
Hopefully. We can only pray.
Fingers crossed. Okay, we have Africa. We have two players left in the region. Ethiopia died. Mali is going strong, and we have Kilwa going strong. But first, I want to talk about Mali and to show something quite interesting in the region. Twin, would you take the honor to show it?
yeah. The Mali Queen is
wow.
not the best of rulers.
Really? Oh my god. Oh, I feel so sorry for Duck.
Yeah,
It's a queen regency though, so it's not gonna
yeah, what like
What's
for
that?
8 years.
5 more years.
It's still 5 more
Like
years.
he's
But-
indulgent and has the corruption stat. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
it's literally the worst rule I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really not nice. And I see he made some deals with like England because England is colonizing, and I believe he's taking institutions. And like he's just a consolidating power, playing single players.
God knows he needs those institutions with that queen. What's
Yeah.
his income like? Can you show his income?
22. It's not too bad.
Does he? Are there more gold mines? Does he have that he hasn't captured yet?
22. Is he richer than Castile? Yep.
Yeah, when they say Castile doesn't need anything, it's a strong country. It just makes me laugh.
Yes,
He actually makes the same amount of money in trade as I did before I lost the Aragon War.
Yeah, Castile needs some rework. Like Iberia needs a rework in general.
it's close to uniting all this stuff though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
colonizers will have some trouble to deal with him. I mean, who left as a colonizer? England, Scotland, and France maybe? Or because
Yeah.
Portugal is talking about immigrating to Brazil. Last time I heard.
Portugal to escape
Yeah.
the wrath of Aragon.
Yeah.
I think, but I think that might just be, postponing the inevitable.
Yeah, we will see. We will find out. Yeah, now we have Cuba. He is consolidating his power slowly. Considering Ethiopia is dead, he will have easier time to control much of these islands and maybe sail to Spice Islands, Indonesia.
Yeah, it's a complete mystery to me how he got all of that money if you look at his income. Like, I guess he must have gotten it from like extortion, basically killing AI countries.
Well,
Yeah.
if it works, it works.
But there's quite a bit of gold in Mutapa that he hasn't captured yet, I think. So or does he have all the gold? I thought there's some gold provinces there that he hasn't taken.
Yeah, there is definitely. I don't know, like,
it's produced the good.
yeah.
Yeah, so he should probably get to that. There's like 3 provinces that's just waiting for him there.
I don't
Yeah.
really understand why he didn't expand as much as he could. Maybe he lost like a AI war.
I thought Mutapa was a player at the start, or maybe they didn't show up. I'm not sure. So that could have something to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because like he's targeting claims, so I'm sure he will go after them.
Yeah, it's a bit weird anyway how he decided to go for Madagascar before getting the gold. It's like,
Yeah, but it's a strong country and he has time to expand. Basically, let's say for the next
Yeah.
50 years, he will not
yeah,
have much
that's-
trouble.
yeah, that Zanzibar node is actually quite valuable, I think,
Yes.
that he has. So it's a really good trade node.
And now we will be talking about India. We had lots of, from what I heard, it's a spectacular region. Wish I was like watching it from far away. I heard like so many people bankrupted themselves, like several bankruptcies, and we have Uzbeks interviewed in the region, out of the shadows. But we have guests. We have Naiba, and we have Sindri. Hello, guys.
Hi, I'm Naiba. I started the campaign as Dali, and I just formed Tibet like 1 month before the campaign ended. And I'm like between China and India, so I kind of control the who gets there, but I don't know if I will survive.
Sup, I'm Sindri. I'm playing Vijayanagar. I'm a co-server admin of this group, and yeah, I think I'm dead. I don't think I'm going to continue, but yeah, let's see.
Hopefully you survive. So guys, what happened in India? Sindri, can you like describe us what was going on and how Uzbeks arrived?
Okay. So if I recall correctly, there were 3 wars in total. And in the beginning, Bahmanis and Delhi allied all the AI nations in India. Bahmanis was like, I think he had like 6 or 7 allies at one point. So basically everything in India was allied to Bahmanis, which is one of the reasons why I don't have Mysore on the map. And yeah, so we actually didn't attack them. Delhi started attacking Shampur, I believe. And then there were 2 defensive wars, basically. Well, a third defensive war as well with Uzbeks, but the first 2 defensive wars, Mm, they were quite harsh. We actually won both of them, but I believe Jampur went bankrupt. Um, those wars, and I went bankrupt in the second war, I believe. Um, yeah, so we actually killed off Delhi, pretty much, but the player there actually did a rule break, which is all right, but he then he switched to his vessel Punjab when Delhi was already bankrupt or something. At least it had its problems, and he pretty much did a comeback. And yeah, the war was quite interesting in my opinion. Like I kind of played tag and catch with Bahmanis. Every time Bahmanis sieged my capital, I just attacked him and won the fight. And every time Bahmanis left to the north, I followed him so he couldn't siege anything else. It was quite interesting in the first war. As for the third war, when Uzbekistan arrived, it was quite disastrous. I was actually quite happy because my country was about to recover from all the wars. Because with the Vijayanagar events, you get lots of autonomy. Like for the most part of the game, I had 100% autonomy in my southern regions. I didn't get anything from those regions. So I was like at 17k force limit, but I went over the force limit like at least 10k every war. In the last war, I went like 20k over the force limit to fight against Uzbekistan in the likes. But when I was about to recover and actually quite happy, Uzbekistan and the rest were at my border and attacked me. It was quite disastrous. I couldn't do much. I tried, but I couldn't do much.
Yeah, Uzbeks, from your perspective, to win, what was happening in India? And how come you decided to intervene?
Like you can't stay a horde forever, right? You have to tag switch. So you need to either form, as Uzbek, you need to form Bukhara or Mongols. And I knew what was going on in India. I knew that there were bankrupting wars and pretty weak nations in general because of all the wars. So I just contacted Bamanis and Punjab and we made an attack plan.
I want to ask you something. I heard Jampar ignored your armies and marched to Uzbek to just siege you, to give you warriors.
Yeah, we can actually show that.
Yeah, Jampar was played by Lol McLol, and
Yeah,
Memphis
sounds
was
like
a
Lolmec.
I don't think Jampur had much chance of fighting my armies, so he went to siege it. But because of the fog of war, he can't really see my lands. So I think he went all the way up here, not knowing where to go, and tried to find my capital. I think we can see it if we tag like
Yeah, his
Vijayanagar.
armies are still there.
This is what the Indians can see, right? And Jampur
Yeah.
just went on an adventure there.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
and then the Oryat horde helped me out with condits and started killing his one stacks that were trying to siege me.
I see he's basically bankrupted her.
And
Yeah, India is an interesting region. Naiba, what did you see like from afar? What was happening in India?
Yeah, I was like, for the first wars, I was mostly like busy gobbling up the stuff I needed to get from Tibet because I really wanted to like secure Tibet as early as possible because I didn't want to fight like stupid wars over a single province I needed to from Tibet. And later on, I intervened myself, and I was quite happy with the wars. Like I was alone because my ally failed to accept the call to arms, and I still got like few hundred ducats and a province out of the war against all the I've also attacked like Bengal, Jampur, Vijayanagar, and Malwa, and yeah, I still got a province and lots of cash out of it, and yeah, I like the way India is at the moment. I was like really worried that India might like unite quickly and then overrun China, but it seems fine.
Yeah, everyone is like making gains except for Indians. They just killed each other, and now people are benefiting from their loss.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's a bit like Italy, really. I feel like
Italy,
that's
yeah.
also what happens in Italy too.
Correct.
It's the Peninsula Syndrome.
And now we have the Spice Islands. We had some players in the region. Ayatollah quickly consolidated power, and now he is at odds with Majapahit, and now they are like basically having a cold war in the region. What do you guys think? Like, because Spice Islands are quite important for Europe as well for money, and it's quite rich with trade income. What do you guys feel? What do you guys think will happen here?
I think it was a quite interesting situation because at the beginning of the game there was supposed to be a Diviet player, and he's basically the reason all this was started. Like Ayutthaya wanted to get rid of Diviet, and he was allied to Malacca, so there was early war against Malacca, but Diviet wasn't there, so it was an easy war, and Ayutthaya managed to quickly gobble up lots of the stuff that normally is taken by Malacca, and he kind of took over the role Malacca has in this region, and it will be really interesting. But I don't know if he can afford to go like fully naval and kill Majapahit, because unlike Majapahit, he also has to worry about like having a strong military to defend against whatever gets strong in India and maybe China.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe the longer the situation goes on, the higher is the chance that much of it would be just fine, because then they're going to be picking more and more idea groups, and Aethia's navy is going to lag behind. But maybe now, what did he pick? Did he pick quality, for instance? That's something that's useful for both things, right? So you can pick something like that and try to kill much of a hit with it without suffering too much.
He did pick quality actually.
Yeah, so that's what I would pick too.
Yeah. It's a
So
nice pick.
there's still a chance that he could overwhelm much of a hit, but if he doesn't, then like in the near future, I think much of a hit will be just fine.
Actually, what I noticed from looking at the save is that there's kind of a bit of Cold War going on in fleets.
Oh yeah, they're building up.
Yeah, they're both building up. Like,
It's gonna be interesting.
right now, Majapahit has 10 heavies. Ayutthaya has 7 here. I think 7 for now.
I remember last time I played here, we had the Cold War, Navy War as well, and it went as far that we both just had both destroyed all our transports and all we made was heavy ships, because we were so scared that the other person would have it. would
Yeah,
have
I
more.
remember that.
So
Like
in
I
the
had
end,
to
no one
build
could
transport ships as Vijayanagar.
so nobody could invade the other person. Anyway, so,
Sounds interesting. Yes.
But I don't think this region will be solely decided by like naval power, at least early on, because no one can afford to have like lots of ships to blockade everything. And if you get creative with your fleet, you can get around, and there are a few straits. So just making sure there is no enemy nearby, you can just move over with your army. So maybe not necessarily the person with more boats wins, but the person who is more creative.
yeah,
I'm interested in this region. I want to see
it's easier
what's
to
gonna
if Ayutthaya manages to sneak some troops over to Java, I think.
And maybe if he takes
Or
like
it could be over pretty quickly.
like colonization ideas, he can just like colonize next to Majapahit and like since his army is there, he basically ignores all the navies and stuff.
That's
And
true
he's
as
just-
well.
And now we have Asia. We have the rise of, as always, but we have Korea who's aggressive and who's invading Japan. I don't know what's happening in this region. I know Twin knows some stuff and also Naiba. What do you guys say? Like, what's going on in the region?
Yeah, like Manchu and Korea teamed up early on, and they quite heavily dominated the region. And I don't know, it may sounds silly to say that, but Korea is kind of playing tall despite being so big, because like you and me, we are allied, and he accepted just like a really easy peace deal, and he took some stuff of Ure, like in the Hangzhou trade node, but he lets us expand like further south, and now he's going for Japan. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased toward him because he let us live, but I'm not too sure he's like a super aggressive player. He's just like a good player who made some early aggressive moves to like stabilize, and not like most Koreas, which are just super tall and don't expand for most of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I noticed is that Korea snipes Beijing really early on, and I think that's for a specific reason, right? Lock Manchu, forming king.
Yeah, he basically made a nice move there. Like, Manchu needs king to Beijing to form Qing, and like he won't be able to unless he attacks Manchu. And the interesting thing is, as Twin was going to say, Korea is seizing now Japan, and Korea and Manchu were allies, but now they are not. So they have 2 years of truce left. It's gonna be some interesting wars there.
Yeah, what exactly happened there? Because as far as you mentioned, they were allied at the beginning of the game, and now things fall apart. So how or why?
Yeah, that is some interesting diplomacy there. Like,
Do you know, Neighbor?
I'm not too sure. It might be because of the rules, because like both of them are great powers now, and I assume Eurat is as well, but I'm not too sure on it.
Okay.
and Japan is under siege as well, so Japan can hold off Korea for 2 more years. Manchu could intervene.
I don't think Japan could hold off Korea. Like if Manchu wanted to attack Korea, it will be hard for Japan because he's like mostly beaten and he doesn't have any forts.
Correct. That's an interesting region as well. And now we have the continent of America. We will be analyzing the region from Costco to north. And let's talk about Costco. Native Americans are a bit lucky when it comes to multiplayer. They play single player for the next 50 to 75 years. And considering Portugal is in trouble and Castile is dead or not half dead, they will be expanding quite early, but they won't be able to get institutions. So we have an interesting like build up here. What do you guys say? The last time we had 2 strong Americans, it was 3 campaigns ago, and they dominated the game, like invading Europe and Sideways was the world police back then. He was intervening in behalf of Europe to keep Europe European. What do you say, Sideways?
What did you say?
The last time we had strong Americans, they were attacking Europe, and you were the world police because you were playing Great Britain, and you were enforcing peace on whoever they were attacking.
Yeah, no, I just enforced peace on a few wars. That was nothing to do with the Native Americans.
Okay, so you have nothing against Kreshk and Volodov.
No, why would I?
Okay. Let's move to Aztecs as well. Costco is passing reforms, and then we have Aztecs. I believe he's quite happy right now with the death of Castile.
Aztecs actually is close to reforming 5 reforms that he needs.
That was fast.
Yeah.
I have only played like Native American Aztec Nothal thingy once. So you kill off your vassals' kings, right, or something like that, to get.
For the Aztec religion, it's like it has a doom mechanic, and how it works is you declare wars. Let me think. Your doom ticks up. Basically, your doom ticks up constantly, and the only way to take it down is by going to war and conquering land. And then whilst you're at war, if you're in battles, it has a chance to take it down by like 1. If you do a subject interaction to kill one of your subjects' heirs or something like that, it can reduce by another certain amount. But as you pass more and more reforms, the rate at which your doom increases, it slows down. Because the more dev you have, I think, or the more provinces you have, the faster your doom ticks up. So once you reform, you get like a minus 20% penalty to doom tick up or something, which means that you can be bigger and still have your doom tick up at a very manageable rate. And then once you do all 5 reforms, you can basically sit at 99% doom and never have it go up 1 more, because it's like minus 100% to doom increase.
Okay.
But doom is kind of like really bad, because if you actually get doom, you lose all reforms, I think, and then I think you lose your admin points or something, and you also lose all your subjects.
Do you lose your ruler too? I think you might.
I don't know. I just know you lose your subjects, you lose all your progress, so it's really hard on you.
Yeah. Luckily for this guy though, Iberia is kind of in a bad place, and
Not really. Castile is in a bad place, but Aragon is fine. Like,
yeah, but he's
I
not
don't
gonna
know
be
if
able
he's
to
strong.
colonize as early as you would have. I guess.
Yeah, but by the time he's colonizing, he'll be pretty strong. So it's not
Yeah.
about who gets there first; it's who's strong when they get there.
Yeah, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not like he's gonna get. It's not like Aztec's gonna get so a lot stronger. He's not gonna get institutions before anyone shows up anyway.
Yep.
And France said he wouldn't. He said to me that he was considering colonizing, but he would only get like a couple of provinces, just some modest colonies. He said, so I'm not sure what that means. And I mean, England and his friends, they're all doing colonizing, aren't they? All three of them. So they're gonna start getting a lot of land over here.
Yep. Yeah, Aztecs will have some easier time. Aztecs will have to do some wars against England probably, or maybe against France. We will see very soon, maybe in the next session. That could happen.
I mean, last Aztecs did it. See why this Aztecs?
Yeah, Arzial, who's playing Austria now, was playing France, and he attacked Aztecs, and he even got stuck by it at at one point. And then, because wars happened in Europe, he couldn't give attention to Americas, and he lost his colonies to Aztecs. Also gave him the chance to reform. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. It's very hit or miss though in those first couple of wars. If Aztecs get beaten like twice.
Yeah, if like two powers attack, maybe like not at one, but
Yeah, I
like
don't
two
know.
powers at the same time. Yeah, it's gonna be
I
interesting.
don't think we should make it sound like it's that easy, because I mean it's certainly easy to just die, I think, when the Europeans arrive.
Yeah.
That is correct. And now we have one more American left who is playing in North America, next to 13 colonies. Iroquois, I believe the nation is called. Played by Ruh. Yeah, he's like having an easy time here right now because Europeans haven't arrived, and he's basically just consolidating his power. But the problem is, if he loses one war, he can lose all of his country. That is quite dangerous for him.
Yeah, and of course the Portuguese already there, settling right next to him.
Yes.
Do you think that's intentional? Like, are they gonna work together, or is it a very aggressive
Maybe.
move?
I don't think it's an aggressive move. I think it might be an aggressive move, but my guess is Portugal is going to be working with this guy to give him free reform.
Yeah.
I wasn't you planning to move to the New World? It's his way of staying alive, getting an ally there.
Maybe he's just misleading us by saying he's going to move to Brazil
Yeah.
to form United States.
Does that man happen?
Yeah, it's an interesting region. It's far from politics right now, but like it will be getting some heat in the next session. Now that we concluded our player rotation in the map and we talked about the politics, I think we have had an interesting session. We had some interesting play styles. We had some players dying, some nice strategies, and some bad ones performed by some players.
Anyone have any idea how many people actually died? Because we started with 60, I think.
Yeah, I believe it's 15.
15 died. Holy crap.
Yeah, 15 players just died. Unfortunately, Oman still lives.
Unfortunately, Poland is still alive.
Yeah. Well, I still have my dream where I'm charging with my cavalry to Oman for a crusade. But that is yet to be seen. That is yet to be seen.
Is that you charging to Valhalla to your death?
Yeah. I'm leaving my country to be occupied by Hungary. while I'm-
Okay.
Yeah, but like last moment of glory before I die. Yeah, thank you guys for watching this podcast. Thank you for Sindri and Naiba to joining us to describe their region. Do you guys want to add anything before we close?
I hope Uzbekistan dies.
Oh, wow.
Same.
So mean.
I'm quite happy with the first session, so I don't have any salt to give out.
I don't want to be alone in the grave, so I hope you all die.
Yeah, I will join in your grave sideways. I will invade Iberia and I will release Spain. Yeah. Thank you for guys watching us, and I hope to see you in the next one. So okay, I'm starting reading the scripts. If you guys are all ready, Frozen, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just eating. Muted.
Okay,
Yeah.
sideways.
Sure.
Twin.
I'm ready to be insulted more.
I'm ready.
Okay, Naiba, are you? He defended himself. Okay, Sindri is fine as well. He's just told me he's closing. Okay, I'm starting the stream. Let's do it. Hello, all of you who's watching this podcast.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, yeah, starting again.
Perfect time.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Hello, all of you
Hey, I
who's
got a
watching this
question,
podcast. Okay.
Just kidding.